Boker Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Again, breaking news coming out of Syria. This time, according to Syrian sources, Israeli fighter jets flying from the airspace of Lebanon have actually targeted the research facility as actually a military research facility, from what we understand, inside of Syria. This was around Hama. Even the S400, Russian S400 system is only 7 kilometers from this particular facility, but nothing seemed to try to intercept the missiles as of yet. We're not hearing anything specific on that. Now, this particular video footage here was posted on Twitter from Lebanon. If you look closely, you'll see in just a second, you'll see Israeli warplanes, alleged Israeli warplanes flying overhead. And, of course, flying low as well. The reason, of course, for flying low is to avoid detection by the different sounds of, by the different anti-air defense missile systems inside of Syria, such as the S400 and other systems there. I'm going to come back here to the white helmets in just a second here. This particular one, I need to retweet this just so I have this on here. White helmets have, of course, as we mentioned earlier in our broadcast, they have been evacuated by Israel from Syria into Jordan. I'll go ahead and hit this real quick. And according to the officials in Israel, this was at the request of President Donald Trump, no less, that they were actually moved out. I think we actually have, let me just pull this up real fast. Amichai Stein is also showing let's see, breaking Syrian opposition reports Iranian IRGC and Hezbollah fighters killed in a reported Israeli airstrike in the research facility near Homs. And we did note that in our description already, hadn't reported that part as of yet, that there were believed to be Iranian sources inside that facility. Let me get the bigger side of that. You can see the missiles coming in. It looks like, well, they were intercepting some of the missiles coming in. The Syrian air defense systems was intercepting some of them, but not all of them were intercepted. And it did hit the research facility. And as you can see, the explosion going off right there in the background there. And I had already seen where there were some saying that they did believe that there were Iranian military sources staged there. So that was kind of something that should be noted as well, and why Israel would target that facility. This, as well, as I said, though, the 800 white helmets and their families that were rescued, Israel said they did this as a humanitarian basis. I can certainly understand for the sake of the families. There are children involved. I have seen the children that were in the videos released by Israel. In fact, let me pull that up real quick. See if we can't pull that up for you as well, because Israel does show some of the footage there of the children that are being rescued out of Syria and taking them into Jordan. And I wanted to see if we can get that. I saw that moments ago. I thought I retweeted it, but maybe I did not. Those of you that do want to follow us on Twitter, it is our there are several names out there that say that they are our channel. They're not. They were set up, some of them set up by friends of ours that I just never got around to being able to work with. So it's not that it's always necessarily bad people that's doing it. It's just we're unable to get involved with some of these here. But I wanted to see quickly, because I know Israel posted some of the evacuation. This may be it right here. Let me just see. No, that's not it either. But they show it, and they show the children that are being evacuated. And the reason why they have to be evacuated, of course, is the threats to their lives, because after all, they have been in a major propaganda against the Syrian government. They call themselves Syrian Civil Defense, that they're there to rescue the people that are injured in the war. But there is so much evidence against them by Syrians that said that they have been used as pawns in their video propaganda, that they have kidnapped the people, they have been involved, some of their members have been involved in the beheading of even as young as a 12-year-old boy. So it's a very sinister group indeed, and they were fearful of their lives of retaliation. I think they're more fearful of retaliation not so much from the Syrian military as they are from the Syrian people themselves, knowing just the type crimes they were committing, and they're only ever seen, never in Syrian populations, but only where the al-Nusra, al-Qaeda, the different terrorist factions that are fighting against the Syrian government are at. I don't see that right as of yet there. Let me go back to the situation, though, that is going on inside of Syria. They're showing more of a bird's eye view up there around Hama, where that was actually struck at there, but nonetheless, Israel has struck inside of Syria against the targets there. Oh well, what do you know? We got another fake video by the white helmets. They're getting smarter about their videos, though. Let's just see what we have going on. That's from 2017. They begin to start wearing their gloves for the victims because they were so criticized for not wearing gloves because doctors were saying that these white helmets would have died from just a touch of the chemical attacks there. But anyway, they point out that how the one actor was not willing to lie down. He didn't want to lie down in the mud there. They're trying to get them to lie down, but they're not willing to do so. It's unreal, some of the things that have been going on there. Let's see, I'm just trying to, let's see, do we run Syria in real fast here? Just wanted to see what we can pull up there on this latest incident that has just happened inside of Syria once again. This is just as the evening has been breaking as well, that this attack took place there, and still waiting to see if Israel actually says anything about it per se. We are friends with different Israelis that tweet about this, and we know some of their thoughts as well. Put in Hama because I know that's where it was, just to see if we got anything else coming up on this. Syrian air defense steps in. There's not a whole lot coming out right now. Sputnik has finally picked up the story, but I don't think Sputnik has actually put anything on there. Well, let's just see if Sputnik is actually saying anything about this. By the way, the photo that we have up ourselves on our page is not the attack itself. That's a photo that I took of the U.S. coalition striking Syrian targets during the war, during the 7-year war itself. Israeli warplanes attacked military post in Syria's Hama reports. The IDF not yet confirmed reports of the strikes, which came just hours after Israel evacuated some 800 members of the White Helmets and their families from Syria at the request of the U.S. and Canadian and EU member states. Israeli fighter jets have hit targets near Masyaf in the province of Hama in western Syria, the news agency Sana reported. According to Sana, citing a military source, a military site was targeted by Israel in order to cover up the collapse of terrorist organizations in Dada and Quneitra. The Israeli jets allegedly fired missiles from Lebanese airspace targeting a scientific facility in Lebanon, based Al Mayadeen television channel reported. Anyway, that's the latest on that. We just wanted to quickly throw this news in there for you guys as we were seeing things unfold here, so you can know what's happening as those things come up to date. We are trying to stay on top of the news for you now that we're back in the swing here. We will be getting live stream back up and running as well. So the broadcast will air live on live stream as well as Israeli News Live on YouTube. And keep in mind too, if we're pre-recording a broadcast like we did this morning, those will be live on live stream. So if you're not part of our Israeli News live stream family, or Roku TV, where you can also look up live stream, get hooked up in there, because later this evening we will be back live on live stream. Getting ready now to go on to Flashpoint with Bonnie Harvey. I'm Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. Support the broadcast, please, at israelinewslive.org. You can also join our Patreon family. If you have trouble giving online with israelinewslive.org, you can also join in there with Patreon. And that's patreon.com/Israeli News Live. Erev Tov.